AITA for causing my MIL to sell her new house? To start with some background, MIL lives in Arizona and bought a new house sight unseen about an hour away from me, 31F, and my husband, 37M, in Idaho about a year and a half ago. After closing she comes up from Arizona and is furious at the state of the house, which in all honesty isn't bad. It's mostly just cosmetic things: clean up the yard, paint the walls, redo the stained flooring, etc. My husband and I are both very handy with remodels and we offered to help. She comes down and agrees to stay. After a few weeks of making the hour drive out there, we've done a few things like removing carpet, trimming trees, cleaning the rooms from 10 years of dust buildup, and sanding the kitchen cabinets for painting. Looking back on this, she never actually thanked us for any of that help. It was more like she just expected it. She still didn't feel like the place was fit to live in, despite again just knowing it was only cosmetic work it needed. About a year ago, my FIL, divorced from MIL and remarried to step MIL for 16 years, was diagnosed with ALS. Husband and I shift gears to start helping FIL and step MIL with a bunch of remodeling to accommodate a wheelchair. One of the things FIL asked us to help with was to build a she shed for step MIL. FIL passed about 3 months ago. It was incredibly hard on my husband and step MIL as it was not an easy passing. During this time, we obviously had not worked on MIL's house and she was back in Arizona finishing up her job before retiring anyways. She retired a couple weeks after FIL passed and came back up to stay with us for about 5 weeks, again not feeling like the new house was livable. Husband is tense during this time, really just kind of angry at everything, and MIL kept making negative comments about FIL and step MIL, all of which I tried to shield my husband from as best I could. I was playing referee between them. Now in the last 3 months we have been trying to finish up the she shed, flooring, skylights, drywall, the works, while also working on our own bathroom remodel due to a leak we had 2 months ago. I could tell MIL has not been happy with the time we've been spending at step MIL's place and not at hers. MIL came up again on Monday and again stayed with us with the intention of getting the new house in a condition for her to move in. Husband and I were putting the finishing touches on the she shed on Monday/Tuesday and told her we would be completely free to work on her place after this week. TBH, we really weren't paying her the level of attention we normally do since we were both so busy with work and getting the shed done. Yesterday I was making lunch and she came in and wanted to chat with me. She made a few comments about us helping that women, referring to step MIL, and how needy she must be, and how her mom, husband GMA, was blaming my husband for allowing MIL to buy a house that needed too much work and how we didn't have time to help her. I snapped. She's made these comments a lot before and I brushed them off, so I'm not sure why they bothered me so much this time. I told her that husband and I are doing our best to help everyone we care about, including step MIL. And I told her that SHE was the one who decided to buy that new house sight unseen despite my husband recommending against it, and she should be taking accountability for her choices and not putting them on her son. I also stated that there was plenty of neediness going around and that step MIL wasn't the only one. This might have been the asshole part, as I could tell she wasn't happy that I was basically accusing her of being needy too. But MIL decided to immediately pack her bags and leave. I did apologize and I told her she didn't have to go. She said she did and we could talk to her again after we have time and are done with all our projects. And that woman, she texted today to say she is emptying the new house and will be selling it. Which is honestly fine by me considering it's less work for us. But part of me feels like an asshole for snapping yesterday and causing this rash decision. Part of me also feels guilty for not getting her house ready sooner, but then another part of me is frustrated that she couldn't just get over the need for fresh paint on the walls or do it herself if she needed it so badly. Painted walls to make a space livable just doesn't seem as necessary as a wheelchair ramp or a promise to a dying man to help him finish a project for his wife. Though I could see where she felt pushed aside because of this. So, AITA? Edit. Yes, exactly, unpaid, and I definitely got the impression that she felt our time spent with others was stolen from her. She did raise my husband, so I think that's where some of the entitlement is coming from, but his dad loved him too and was a kind man. And yeah, the whole non-contact threat was part of what was making me feel guilty too, but agree I shouldn't be feeling guilty for sticking up for my husband and I. Just hard when I don't want to cause my husband any more stress, and I hate that his mother can't see that. But I appreciate your kind words and advice. I'll definitely be looking up manipulation by splitting and triangulation. My husband and I luckily did have a long conversation afterwards where we both agreed that we never wanted to end up being constantly negative, like my parents and his mom recently have been, and we would both ensure we hold each other accountable moving forward to be more positive. So despite the craziness, we seem to be coming out stronger together and hopefully breaking this cycle. Edit to answer. Why does stepmother, need a she shed? She has the whole house to herself. She's actually sharing the house with her granddaughter, my husband's niece-in-law. It's not a huge house and FIL had promised her a place to do her crafts, kiln setup, etc. So it was something he had been designing for her and had literally just broken ground on the foundation for it when he received his diagnosis. The ALS progressed rapidly, so with a few weeks of starting on the foundation he was already using a walker, then a wheelchair a few weeks after that. He had planned to do it all himself until the ALS took over. Update. About 6 months ago I posted about my MIL threatening to sell her house after I snapped at her over comments she was making about my husband and his stepmom after his father passed. A lot of you pointed out that she was using us for free labor and were totally right. I appreciate all the advice given and words of encouragement. Now for the update. We hadn't heard a peep from MIL at all these last months, until a week and a half ago. My husband and I were on a flight to Peru and she literally texted that she was on the way to our house. No call. No asking if we were free, just that she was already halfway through the 16-hour drive from her Arizona house to our place. We were on a layover at this point and both just stunned. My husband waited to respond until the next day because he was so upset and just said we are in Peru in a text to her, where she just responded that she figured we might be gone. We talked it over that morning and stupidly agreed that we should extend an olive branch since she drove all that way and tell her she could stay at our place, stupidly thinking it would be a night or two. She said she would, didn't even say thank you, since she had a long 24 hours and would be working on her house in Tico. Apparently she never sold it, though I'm not surprised. Since then, again about a week and a half ago, she is still at our house. We have cameras on our place so we can see who comes and who goes. She hasn't left for more than an hour, so we know she isn't going to her Tico house since that's an hour drive one way. She hasn't said anything to us, not even to ask when we will be back. Our cat sitter is still coming by the house to clean litter boxes and feed our cats and mentioned to me that MIL switched the cat food. My husband immediately texted her and told her to switch it back since our cats are on special digestive-friendly food so they don't puke all over the place. She never responded to him, but our cat sitter confirmed the food was switched back. So at this point, I'm at a loss for what to do. I know she is still going to be there when we get back on Saturday and I'm absolutely fucking dreading it. We've had an exhausting, though very fun, trip of hiking and biking and I just want to relax before going back to work. But I'm also torn because I don't want to be an asshole and tell her she needs to leave. My husband is in the same boat and we both know she's probably going to try get us to work on her house again, and we both agreed there is no way in hell we will given how she's acted, refused to apologize, and has taken advantage of us especially this last week and a half. So, any advice on how I can politely tell her to leave before we get back? The last thing I want is to send a text that she will forward to my husband's whole family to tell them how horrible we are for kicking her out. Not that he seems too worried by that, but he hasn't had contact with any family on her side for months and it breaks my heart to see. Edit. We did go no contact for about 6 months and thought she wanted to resolve things. But the lack of communication on her part says no, and we should have seen that from when she came up with no warning. We thought this time she might actually stay at her Tico house, but clearly we were wrong and just wishful thinking. I completely agree about not owing families anything though. I've been no contact with my own mom for the last 3 years. While I don't regret it because of the crap she pulled, there are times I do miss having a mother figure. Honestly, I was the one that encouraged my husband to extend the olive branch. He didn't want to, so the fault lies with me. But I just wanted to give her every chance I could to prevent him from losing the one real family member he has left, no siblings or uncles/aunts etc. It's literally just him and his mom now. Though now just him and me. Tiny update. I did as you suggested. Husband texted her asking her what her plans are since we saw on the cameras that she was still there and we thought it would only be a night or two. She hasn't responded, but we saw on the cameras that she started packing her bags into her car. She hasn't left just yet though. I'm honestly wondering if she just forgot that we have cameras, they are small, and probably asked our cat sitter when we would be back, with plans to possibly leave before then knowing she had about 2.5 weeks? We will give it another day and try contacting her again if no movement. Enjoying the time we have left in Peru in the meantime.